Young Record Podcast, back to another episode. This is Lost Count, I think, on count what?
Yeah, I'll say. Yeah, I'm not even going to watch that anymore.
But yeah, it's been Luke this week. I asked, I think, end of last week, what conspiracy theories you have. I was planning to do that at a later point, but yeah, we're just thinking, having recent kind of conversations that we have with people, and yeah, things I've been listening to, quite interesting to talk on today, as well as things we feel should be left in 2020. Just because they're outdated. But yeah, the thing I want to talk about today, someone replied to it, and I'm also having conversations with a few of my boys as well as listening to a few talks.
Yeah.
It's just about kind of, I would say like religion is a conspiracy theory, but I think a lot of people are questioning a lot of like, you see, stories that like, you know, in like religious scripture that might be told, stories that have been told, or kind of, I think I talked to my boy last night about, he was kind of saying like, he doesn't know if there is like heaven or hell or anything like that after death. I don't know what your opinion on that is. Just to start.
What, my opinion on like afterlife or like that sort of general topic?
Yeah, like, do you think it's all like, in terms of like, if I was to say it's a conspiracy, more so like, someone said to me, all the stories told, they're basically just myths. You know, like Greek mythology, so like the more Abrahamic religions, which is Judaism, Christianity, Islam. Yeah. They're just basically to kind of control. Like, so I guess a lot of people think religion is purely just kind of a way to control people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think to some extent, I feel like, to be fair, I'll say off the bat, I think like a lot of people believe in religion because they want something to believe in, if that makes sense. So, like obviously, you don't want to believe once you die, that's your end of your life. You know what I mean? You're finished there. So I think that's what draws more people to it, that they think there's something out there, because something that's intangible just means you're never going to die. People believe I think it's like Buddhists believe that you're going to like be reincarnated. Yeah. Obviously, Christians believe in heaven and hell. Some of them do believe in like reincarnation and stuff like that. I don't know. I think I probably do agree. Like, the way I see religion is that you take bits that you want. If that makes sense. Like, that's how I do it, anyways. Obviously, some people read the Bible for like scripture to scripture. Obviously, there's the Old Testament and New Testament. If I'm only going to talk about Christianity, because that's all I actually really know about. But so you have like the Old Testament and you have the New Testament that have like essentially conflicting views on quite a lot of things. So I think it's as generally as you take it. So I guess that's why I get people think religion's like anecdotal, because obviously, essentially, I can tell you a story, but it's simple as like, you know, when you used to do I don't even know what the word is. I'm pretty sure like I can't call it that. You know that whisper thing when you used to whisper in people's ears. I'm not gonna say what it is. Yeah, but I thought I've never seen someone that was like racist. I don't know. That's what I didn't want to say, but I think basically, essentially. I thought that was what it was called. Yeah, no, that's what I thought it was called. But like I don't know what it's called in it, but yeah, like obviously, but that like I think people call it like I heard a rumor, whatever it is like now. But like obviously, you just whisper in people's ear, but you saw how quick like whatever someone said at the beginning got distorted to the end. I think that's generally like how religion can happen. Like how I might see it, like how you might tell me it isn't how I'm then going to relate it to someone else. And just due to that, it will change. And then again, like I said with the Bible, obviously, like I hear loads of people say actually, like man wrote the Bible to suit themselves. Like essentially, like someone might have told you this story, and then now you've changed it, or like altered it in like a small way, but that small tweak has essentially changed the whole completely different meaning. So I guess that's why people probably see that as like sort of made up and like all storytelling. Just because obviously the mere nature of storytelling is obviously sort of very skeptical. And I think sort of
yes, but now I think a lot of it is because obviously I know people that are very much like they believe in the story kind of thing. And also know people that are religious, but they also understand kind of where we're coming from, I guess. So a lot of it is necessarily didn't actually happen for me, or as you said, it might have been an adaptation of something that did happen. So like a lot of it, I think, religion is explaining from, especially back when I guess these things were written, explain things that science can now explain. So I guess possibly maybe it started off being like this was, you know, the way they described it then, and it's kind of like a rumor type thing. And it's just kept getting to the point where it's almost like something that's basically to us today. It's like that could have happened, but to them back then,
yeah.
that's like how they. That's how it must have happened.
And I think, to be fair, even to be fair, even to add on to that, to some extent, I don't think they even half the time believed all of the stories. That's how you essentially get miracles, isn't it? Like, oh, that would never happen in real life, but we can't explain it, so we'll call it a miracle. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think even certain things, to the extent when the Bible was sort of created, wasn't even believable to people then. But then it also confuses me because obviously you have like BC, like the timing, like 500 BC, which is obviously meant to be before Christ. Essentially, like they essentially had all different gods as well. So I don't know. I do believe again. Essentially, religion. Not even. I don't think that's even a conspiracy theory. I think like religion to some extent can be used to control people. That's just obvious. I think you can just see that. Like if the Bible tells you, oh, you can't drink, you can't smoke, you can't do any of this stuff, and you completely just follow the Bible to that extent, then obviously essentially that is controlling an aspect of your life. And you can essentially go to somewhere like I suppose like Catholics essentially believe like the Pope, like essentially doing the work of God. If he essentially decrees something, then certain people in like the Catholic religion will be like, I'll call them that's acceptable. So essentially it can be used to control because essentially if the Pope said, oh yeah, all gay people should be burned at the stake, some Catholics probably believe that. I did see somewhere that he did like come out for like gay rights, and then I did see those like diehard Catholics sort of like opposing him, which did confuse me essentially because if like you follow a religion to the T, you're not meant to go against the Pope at all. So I think it is. There's definitely a massive control nature around religion. I would say a lot of the time.
I think that goes back to the point though, like kind of what you said. People used it, and people change. Like maybe they change like a small part of the story, it kind of then change the whole meaning.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it, as you said, people follow it to suit themselves.
Yeah.
Which once is a good thing because it can be like, say you could read maybe one part and relate that to your life, try and make it better, but at the same time, also something, then decide you're going to make that, especially if, say, if you're, for example, you're a religious preacher, and a lot of people come to you, I guess, say if you're a priest in church, and you decide to tell people this is what this means, then it can potentially be very dangerous. And I think that's maybe where they were coming from in terms of it's a conspiracy theory, that maybe it's a conspiracy to control people, possibly. I don't know exactly.
To be fair, I can't remember what I did see. I do remember seeing. It might have been. To be fair, it might have been me listening to someone like with conspiracy theory saying like sort of religion generally started because of obviously like there was just that was like the only way to sort of control people because obviously saying essentially like even if you look back in like when I did like A-level history, we were doing like Queen Elizabeth and stuff like the first like that was like 600 years ago. Essentially, like their way to stay in power was to say, "Oh, God's given me this power. That's why I'm essentially your queen." When essentially, like we all know, like if we look back in history, they probably didn't even know that at the time. Like, what was it, Henry VII, whoever, like the roses viewed, like white roses, red roses, whatever that war was, essentially was the war to whoever to get power. Like that wasn't God saying like I signed it to you. Do you know what I mean? So I think to some extent there's control power to it. But I do generally think it kind of depends on the actual religion you follow. Because, like I said to, I think I said it to you before. I don't think, like in my experience, saying Christians are as about to say someone like Muslims or like Jewish people. I feel like Christianity is a bit more. I'd say it's more diluted. I don't know if that's the right word at the moment. Like I think we essentially. I don't know about you, but I essentially was like raised Christian. Like went to Church of England primary school. However, I don't follow it as strictly. I don't really know. I can't give you a load of Bible verses. I probably could say like one, but I wouldn't. If you asked me where it was in the Bible, I'd be like, I don't know. However, I think other religions, I would say, but then, I suppose, to some extent, religions do control things. Like there's like you have like Muslims that follow like different laws, which are sort of set out by religion. So I suppose you could. I don't know. I suppose I don't know if you can then class that as conspiracy theory because I suppose there's some truths behind that. I think anyone can sort of just agree that to some extent religion does control things. But
I guess what I wanted to go back to quickly was do you believe in like heaven and hell and how you live your life against that?
I don't really know what I believe in that sense. be fair, like I suppose I feel like I don't know. I think it's different on different days. Does that make sense? Like some days I'll be like, oh, I believe in it. I don't know if I believe you're going to hell, but I don't think anyone's going to hell because I feel like if I believe that something.
What if you're a serial killer?
Yeah, I do, but then I just think the thought of hell just sounds a bit mad to me. If that makes sense. Like you're essentially meant to be there burning for the rest of your life. Like,
someone said like it's what I believe anyway, but I heard someone say it on Clubhouse. I think maybe a few weeks ago they were saying like I think they're from, I can't remember which country it's that they're from, but actually what they were told is that hell is a state of mind. Heaven and hell is a state of mind. So say, for example, if your life is a bad person, you're not really at peace, and then say for example when you die, your mind's not at peace kind of thing, so you're forever in this like not at peace. And obviously, when if you're angry or something, you're not at peace, you're not happy. So I guess heaven when you die is like a state of mind where you're happy and you're forever at peace kind of thing. And if you live your life as a bad person, you do bad things, make you go to I don't know.
So I think I think to be fair, in most respect, I agree with you there. I don't think like you said, but I might have hell wouldn't actually generally be like, oh, I might joke about it. I don't think like most people are going to go to hell. Like if you're a serial killer, then I probably think like you said, you're probably just not going to be like restful in like your afterlife and stuff. I think I just agree with a bit of everything like you hear. Like I do believe there's like well, I hope, I suppose. I think it's more like me hoping. I don't know whether it's believing or not. I'm just hoping. Just because even this like earlier this morning, I saw like something on YouTube with like a what do you call him? Like I think it's a psychic. Yeah, it's a psychic, isn't it? That speaks to like, I don't know if there's another term for it, but like essentially they speak to like dead people. They can see dead people. I'm pretty sure that is psychic. And I think like for me that's sometimes I do think like you're definitely faking it. But then I also think like if I was sat in the audience and you started putting out like facts about people that I knew, I'd be a bit like, okay, that's like that's a bit I don't understand how people do that. So I do generally believe it. I think you probably can. I do probably think like I probably do believe in souls and stuff like that. I suppose. I think my idea of heaven is more like what you want it to be. Essentially, I think essentially if you get to heaven, it's like what you want to be. So if like you believe you'll be reincarnated in another way, then I think that would be like what will happen to you. I suppose if you believe like essentially once you get to heaven, like that's just where you stay. It's just like you'll see all your old family, your friends and stuff like that, and you just be there for the rest of your life. I think generally my idea of heaven is I don't believe anyone's idea of like what happens after death is wrong. I think it's just generally like your heaven would be whatever you wanted it to be or whatever you believe. But I think
that makes sense. I agree with that. I agree. I think it's definitely like a state of mind. Like, what you want it to be. I don't know if it's like that. My friend made an interesting point that like it's hard to know because who's the judge of who's going and who's not going. You know what I'm saying? Say, for example, if like you're a serial killer, but if what you're doing is completely fine and you are at peace with yourself, you then when you die go to heaven because you're at peace with yourself. You think what you've done is right. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who's the overall judge?
I get that.
Who's actually a good person who's deserving to be at peace? You know what I'm saying? Or is it just yourself?
So I feel like when people say it, I think they always say it's like down to God, isn't it? But then like there's also I suppose there's a theory where like there's people that are like the lost souls that go into limbo. Have you heard that? Where they're not in heaven but they're not in hell, which is for me like. I think that's where like,
Or purgatory.
I think that's what like limbo, purgatory, like the same thing, isn't it? Like and that I suppose kind of debunks. I don't know if I really believe in that because I think if you're going to believe in heaven and hell, you can't really believe that then you're either lost. Do you know what I mean? Like surely if you believe in that, you believe there's a set route that you. Do you know what I mean? Like there should be no one in that sort of limbo because you've either done something completely wrong that will damn you, or like do you know what I mean? Because I think just human nature. And that's why I say sometimes I suppose I do see myself as religious. I kind of believe in God, but I don't follow the Bible to the strictest because I generally believe, like I said, it's conflicting. But also, I don't think essentially if we're humans, we've been given free will. That certain life choices. I suppose we've all committed sins. That doesn't essentially damn you straight to hell. Because I think if you can't give me free, you can't give me free like freedom of choice and stuff, and not expect me to make a mistake. So yeah, in that respect, yeah, I don't know if I think religion is a conspiracy theory or like heaven and hell, because essentially, like, for me, a conspiracy theory, like, at some point probably could be proved. I don't think that can ever be proved until like you die, because obviously you have people that say they come back from like death and they say they saw the light. Like, I remember seeing like it's a weird one. Like, you remember like the Twin Towers and stuff, and there was like I don't know if you've seen it, but there was like a fireman that said like, oh, I can't remember how long he was trapped there, like maybe a week or something. He was like, oh yeah, at some point I thought I saw the light, and then like God told me to go back, and then like that's just like the exact time he got found. So I don't know whether like obviously he was hallucinating or whatever. Like, obviously being on there so long, you're probably not gonna have water. Like, at certain point, your body will start kicking in.
Yeah.
So and then you also have other people that like have like died on operating theatres. Like, oh yeah, I just don't remember anything. It was like I died, didn't even know I died. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I don't know.
I think you with like the way people always say that it's with like, oh, I saw the light.
Yeah.
I think maybe is that because we're conditioned to think that's what you see.
Yeah.
Do you think like, say people may like when they're like really, you know, like people say I see my light flash before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that because we're just like it's a natural human reaction? Maybe just that's what you like. Does it actually mean you're going to heaven? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that,
yeah, I get what you mean. Like, but I don't know, because then obviously science will tell you that conspiracy theory about like your life flashing before your eyes and seeing like the light could be true, because obviously they say like after you die, your brain has like 7 minutes where it like still outlives, like it just survives, doesn't it? Like, you die, but like essentially still not fully dead. So like, I suppose if that's happening, like your brain could just be like flicking in your head. But yeah, I suppose that would only, I don't know. I don't think you can see your. Surely, I don't really know how that works, because I suppose you can be brought back to life, but obviously, you wouldn't see. I'm surely if you saw your whole life flash before your eyes, that like there's no coming back from that. Like, there's a period before your brain starves of oxygen before you just like you're completely brain dead. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, but I think that's why I think that's all like, including with religion, it's down to what you believe. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's for comfort, isn't it? Like, if you, I suppose, like it's comforting to believe in heaven because you think, like I said, like this is not the end. Like, although I might be dead in this world, there's something still waiting for me. Because imagine to think for the rest of your life. Like, sometimes I'm not even like, I don't even think about it now, but when I was younger, I was like, oh, when you're dead forever, like ever, like eternity. Like there's no time period of that. You're just dead. So I think it's probably more comforting to believe. Yeah, it's probably more comforting to believe.
I think that's why people hold so strongly to faith as well, because it's eternal, and it's like nobody knows. Like, that's the one answer in life. And that's why I think people
fear it the most.
I think you fear it so much because, and as well, life is so fragile. Like, you have so many accidents or so many madness as well in life. It's so precious and so fragile at the same time. So I think people hang on to that because, including myself, probably at some point. Because you're like, I really don't want this. I can't see this person ever again in my life. That's just bad. Or the next life. Whatever it may be.
Exactly.
That's why people did hold on to it so tightly.
But then,
it's something you can probably talk about for hours. Well, we were going to talk about things to leave in 2020. We were saying before this, so like it's kind of hard to think of that to be honest right now, because it doesn't feel like we've gone into a new year. It feels like
it's just a continuation. It just feels like it's the 13th month. Do you know what I mean? Like what? How? I don't know what day it is. 24th? Like, we're 24 days into this year. Like, January's dragging for me, to be fair. Like, it's taking a long time.
I feel no different like how I thought in November to or October. I thought exactly the same. And it's hard to understand as well. Normally, when you start a new year, I know that time is not real. It's like it's
construct.
It's created this illusion of like day, year, month. But you kind of feel like, I maybe change a few things. But because everything's so stagnant right now, it's a bit like you can't really do it. Like, it's not.
It's sort of like. It's just like Groundhog Day, isn't it? Like, you essentially just reliving every day the same day. I think like I agree with like I feel like you and like most people, it's sort of like I saw someone saying it's like I'm not depressed, but I'm just not like I can't describe it. I'm not depressed. Like, I haven't got like severe depression. I think you know that, but it's just thought like I'm just tired, if that makes sense. Like, every day hearing the same bad news. I'm a bit like, I'm fed up of hearing it. And it's sort of like, there's lack of hope because you don't actually know what's going to end. It's not like, if I'm being real with you, I think everything's cancelled this year. Like, people saying like, oh, I can't wait to go to Carney. Oh, I can't wait to go to like these festivals. I can't wait to do holidays. But I'm thinking, when? Like, it's still here. They say like they're not going to be able to vaccinate.
They cancelled last week.
Yeah, that's what I saw. And I was thinking, and then I was like, obviously I live in Reading, so there's like Reading Festival, and I was a bit like, people still talking about it. I was like, I'm not being funny, but it's not going to happen. Like, if they're saying they're not going to be, they're only like, what? Probably like halfway through of vaccinating the like over 80s and like I think 70s now as well. And I remember someone saying like, oh, you can look at I don't know what the website is, but there's some website you can like sort of estimate like when they offer the vaccine to you, and that's not even until like I think for our age like October, November, probably December sort of time. Yeah. And what we're like 20 somethings, and then obviously you still got the young ones, and then like the newborns. There's not like yeah, I don't think at any point this year it's going to happen. If anything, like it's going to be next year. I think again that kind of leads on to like the conspiracy theories, because there are conspiracy theories like you've probably seen them about COVID, like literally just being set out there to control people, which I think it's mad but true to some extent. Like
I don't know about like potentially China, because I know there was some scientists that leaked information or tried to come out and say it's coronavirus. So something dodgy going on about it. She was arrested, so I don't.
Yeah. See, so I suppose because I was saying I don't believe in conspiracy theories around COVID because I know like how many people do I know? I think I know like 3 or 4 people that had it now. Like one was like.
I only know one person that's close, like kind of. I know well.
Yeah.
That's actually, and that's only in the last few weeks.
Oh, fair. So. Yeah, I knew someone that had it like it must have been like March time, and they were like in hospital, like in almost went into like intensive care and stuff, and then the other ones just been like just resting at home sort of thing, like just dealing with like I know it's not common cold, but like that's how you sort of deal with it, like just at home, like not affecting you. But yeah, I think obviously I don't believe the conspiracy theory that it's not real. Like I've seen like 2 people like this weekend just putting there like, oh yeah, they're controlling us. Look at places like Italy that are like rebelling against it, which to me is a bit mad because I think at that point, even if you don't believe it's real, like it's a bit mad that people are telling you it's real, the doctors are telling you it's real, like essentially at that point you're just showing you don't care, like you just want to get back on with your life, which obviously to some extent everyone wants to do. Like if I'm being 100% honest, have I stuck to lockdown 100%? Probably not. Like not intentionally like going out and like going party and stuff like that. I'm not like 100% breaking it, but I suppose like even when we were going to London to do the podcast, there's probably some point where I wasn't at a 2 meter distance from someone. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I'm not going to judge people for wanting that, and obviously not sticking to it 100%. Like I do sometimes, like when I see people like, oh, like I went to like my grandparents' house, I'm like, I generally don't care, like not in a mean way, but like I don't care in that respect. But then I kind of suppose like touch on the China thing. I don't know if you've seen it, but I remember normally I don't believe like both Americans that come out with those conspiracy theories, but this one did sort of like when I watched it, I was like, that is quite a plausible thing. And they were saying like this was at the very beginning of the pandemic, so this was probably about like March time. They were like oh yeah, they want you to believe it came from like the bat soup or whatever they were saying. They were like that doesn't even make sense. Which to be fair, when they said it, I was like, okay, that does like makes total sense. They're like, right, you're saying it came from a fish market and bat soup. A bat wouldn't be getting sold in a fish market for one because it's not a fish. So I was like, okay, fair, that's a pretty obvious thing. But they also said like right like next to it, like I don't know if it's obviously immediate next to it, but like maybe straight away they have like the Center of Virology, which like basically study viruses, and they were saying like I think it was like maybe like a week before they announced the world that the first case happened there. All the scientists there, like you were saying, like one of them got arrested because they tried to expose it, and then like they just basically all the scientists disappeared from that place, and they were like, if anything, like someone's working on viruses around the corner from that fish market supposedly happened at. It does, but to me that seems plausible. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I suppose that is a conspiracy. I believe. I don't believe it came from like a bat suit. Even.
Yeah, I'd say personally, I honestly think it's very plausible to say that they were potentially working on something.
Yeah.
That went wrong.
Yeah.
And released it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what it is. I think that's very plausible.
Yeah.
I will never know. We'll know in like 50 years time.
Yeah.
I think that's very plausible.
They're not going to admit it now because I think. To be fair, I'd rather they just said like, oh yeah, we were working on a lab experiment, or like we were testing something and it went wrong. But obviously, for obvious reasons, no country would ever admit that, because essentially, one, as soon as you do that, you've opened yourself up to like getting sued by other countries, and then you also have the countries looking at you like, why the hell was you doing that anyways? Because I think that's conspiracy. I don't know, like it's like, I don't know if it's even conspiracy theory. People are like, oh, like they think this is like a warfare, because obviously if you can make the whole population sick, yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, so so I suppose to some extent I do believe in that, but also that's not because I don't know if it's solid conspiracy theory. I think it's just because of like previous experience with human beings. Like that is something people would do. Like people are very hungry control.
I could see. Yeah, someone did say that coronavirus is a conspiracy, and I don't believe in the fact that like they're making up cases or anything. I truly believe it is like can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
But in which it has come about, the way in which it has been dealt with. 100%.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I don't believe it's conspiracy theory that is like a real thing. I believe the conspiracy theory would be how it was created, like you said. So for that one, I'm trying to think of any other conspiracy theories I believe in. I do believe, like this, I suppose, quite sensitive topic for like some people, but like 9/11, like I saw a conspiracy theory about that one. To be fair, that was on like national TV. To be fair though, because they were basically saying like,
I think to be honest, like I'm not saying it is or isn't, but it's definitely proved to say that it was. There's loads of stories and things like that where
that's what I was thinking. Like
something would like manufactured to happen on a certain day. Things like that, definitely.
But 100%. But I think I don't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's conspiracy theory, because I think like I think with conspiracy theories, that's the weird thing is like if you look into something enough, you'll be able to make a theory. If that makes sense. So even someone like Princess Diana's death, like we always joke about it, like like our mums think like she's the greatest thing. They hate the royal family for that.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you look into it enough, you'll be like, oh yeah, she was hated. But well, you don't know if she was hated, but like, oh, she had just like had a big divorce. Oh, she was dating someone else, or all of a sudden she died. Like, it's not hard to put two and two together and blame someone like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like anyone can make a conspiracy theory out of anything. Like, I don't even know. Like, I mean,
that's true, because if you firmly disagree with something, then
you will find a way.
Like in the sense of conspiracy, because you're conspiring to.
Yeah, literally, like in anything, any given situation, you can make a theory. Like, I mean, I have a mad theory. I don't even think it's a conspiracy theory. I'm 100% sure this is like a proven fact. But like, I have a theory that people that do like gymnastics, people that do basketball, there's a reason they're tall and there's a reason they're short, innit? So I feel like if you do gymnastics, like constantly tumbling through the air and landing hard on your foot like that, that's gonna stunt your growth. Like, I say that to my family, if I was joking, innit? But I started typing it into Google and like it was a well-searched thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just typed like why are gymnast, and then next thing you know, short, and then the people with all these theories are saying like, clearly I'm not the only one that thought it.
For basketball, just in the sense, I'm not a scientist, but I believe the fact that when you're like reaching,
constantly stretching,
you're stretching your body. Like, I'm not saying it's gonna make you grow like.
I don't like. Obviously, there's genetics to it. Like, I don't think like someone like
I think you're continuously stretching every day. Moves of basketball give you like maybe half an inch.
But then like someone might be like, oh, that's just a stupid conspiracy theory. Like, it's just genetics. But then there's obviously like a basketball thought, but like, well, actually no, because if you're constantly like battering your bone down to the ground like that, it's gonna at some point it's gonna do some effect to you. Do you know what I mean? Like
well, lifting weights before you finish scoring.
Yeah, it could be like.
There's obviously things within sport and different sports that can.
That's what I'm saying, because like. That's what I'm saying, because like that's my thing. I don't think like obviously there are probably tall gymnasts and there probably are short basketball people, but there's obviously a reason why there's the majority of them are short and the majority of them are tall. Do you know what I mean? So people will look at them like, oh, that's just a mad conspiracy theory, but like the fact I've wanted to like I found something, I looked at it and just like, to be fair, I didn't look at like research. I generally just thought like, I remember watching TV one day, I was like, they're probably short because of that, constantly doing that. But like I managed to find a way to make a theory out of it. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's just that like theory is something that needs to be disproved or proved. I don't think you can ever. But I think when it becomes conspiracy theory is when you can't ever prove it. Because I wouldn't say my gymnastics was a conspiracy theory, because I feel like at some point they probably would be able to prove it. But something like heaven and hell, like where coronavirus came from, just because like I mean they can prove that, but they're probably never gonna prove it. Or if they do, they're never gonna open up to the public. So I think it will stay like a conspiracy theory. But
obviously, yeah, I guess when you look to like wrap up, obviously I don't want to go too much, but
yeah,
so, like obviously with conspiracy theories, they can only really you can't really prove them, but I'm sure that makes religion a conspiracy theory, right? Because then God is a conspiracy.
yeah. But I suppose that is true because then you have people that like there's people from the school of thought that science will prove everything, like the Big Bang. But then that then essentially be a conspiracy theory because the religious people are like, well, where did the Big Bang come from? Like, where did these elements come from? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I say like
so both sides have God.
Yeah.
Both conspiracies.
Yeah. Like to different people. That's why I think I would probably say like I'm religious, but I'm also I look at science as well and be like, okay, that could be.
Yeah, I'm a mixture. I'm critical of both, I guess.
Like I don't follow one entirely. Like I don't think anyone follows one entirely. Do you know what I mean? Like it's less like saying like there'll be those religious people that don't believe like anything to do with science all solved by God, and there'll be the scientific belief that there's no such thing as God. And I think everyone else falls in the spectrum somewhere in between there because at some point, if you take in modern medicine, you then believe in science. And then if at some point like someone in your family's died and the first thing you want to do is pray to God, you believe in God. So that's why I think
I was gonna add to that point by being like, you see when like you're in a mad situation, like you ever been in something where you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this. Or say something I'm gonna say here, by grace of God, you have somehow survived that. The first thing you do is thank God.
You don't thank science.
Even if you're not really religious, you will say it. You'll just say it because you'll be like, there's no way of explaining how I have not just died. Or I have not just
something's happened to me.
So I think
and that's why I was literally going to say that. I was literally going to say that with like an experience. So this is at uni, and I remember like I just got told like some news, and I was like, oh shit. But the first thing I could think of was like, because at this point I wouldn't say I wasn't religious, but I'd be like, I wasn't. If someone was like, you religious, I'd say I'm Christian, but I wouldn't be like, I definitely need like God in my life every day. But I remember there was one time I was like, the first thing I could think of to do was like go to a church and pray, and just like literally thank God. And I was like, I don't know why, I don't know whether it was just like put into me, but I was like, at some point, I was like, I don't even know how that situation came about. So the first thing I wouldn't like, there was nothing I could be like, oh, let me think of science. Like, what can science do to help me at this point in time? Do you know what I mean? Like, when I'm ill, I don't think like, oh, let me pray to God to give me like some medication. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I had tonsillitis right now, I'm not praying to God about it. I'm going to the doctors and like some medication, like, do you know what I mean? Some penicillin. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I think for most people, it's like it's given the situation you're in. I think like most people like literally it's just a spectrum. You either fall on the extreme, and most people just believe in like a bit of both. Like there's people that I say they're like scientists that believe in heaven and hell. Do you know what I mean? So it's whatever comes. I think it's literally
even like those science, and I think that literally this is how this happens. And that's just literal scientific proof. That is how you potentially get ill. How this has evolved into this, or how a river is formed. Like there's literal scientific evidence to prove this. But at the same time, there's also things that can't be explained by science.
And then because you can't explain it by science, you have to assign it to something else. Like, and I think that's just human nature. As human nature, like we always need to know a reason why something happened. And if you can't explain it, it generally falls down to like a religious thing, whether you believe in God or not. And I suppose if you're atheist, you should be like, I don't know how it happened. But then you'll look for science to prove it for you. Do you know what I mean? Like I think humans just always want something to prove any given situation. I think that's just generally how people are wired. And I think actually all living things are wired like that. They always need to figure out how something happened. Otherwise, they can't just sort of settle. And I think
I'd probably say that's what I was going to ask as well. Like, quickly, obviously, we're going to wrap up in a minute. But do you believe in like fate? Do you believe in fate, or do you think everything's just a case of like it's just chance? Like, do you think everything happens for a reason? It's just complete just chance. Like it's there's no like.
No, I think I believe in both. Like I said, like that's what I said. I don't think I believe on any two extremes. I believe like fate. I suppose fate and chances. Like if you've had more chances to become, well, I don't even know, like a footballer. Like if you've always been given footballs, your parents are taking you to every football lesson, and you've had all that training. Some point that is chance because someone like say for instance I had no chance to do that. Probably there's no chance to do it. But then like there's someone that could equally had the same chances as you and it hasn't worked out for them. So then I would say like, oh, probably fate took over. I think chances are one thing and then fate probably takes over. Do you know what I mean? Or like, I suppose I believe in a mixture of both. I don't think there's, but what about you?
Of like people you come across in life, so say like opportunities or things that people can't come across like really randomly, like you meet someone and then another opportunity somewhere. Like, do you think that's chance or fate? Like it was meant to be that you met that person.
Yeah, I'll probably say like if it was like a freak incident, like say for instance right now I ran into Jay-Z and he's like, oh, join my company, I'd probably be like, no, that was fate. Like there's no way that could happen. Like, oh, that's fate and God like putting me together at the same place. I wouldn't say that was a chance of me. It just happened to be strolling down the street and he was there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think I would assign that to fate. But then I'll say, oh, that's just chance. Like, I suppose there's sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I just got lucky. But like say for instance, I just passed an exam that I didn't do any work for. I'll be like, oh, that was just luck. Like, mate, chance had it. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's down to fate. I think fate's where it's more like, for me, fate's more like when something more meaningful's happened. Like chances for me is just a bit like oh, I didn't like, oh, I messed up in my driving. Like when I messed up in my driving test, I was like, mate, I just got lucky there. I wasn't like, I was fate they were going to pass me. Like fate is for me is like something a bit higher than chance. Do you know what I mean? Like I messed up and like clearly she was feeling a bit nice. I just got proper lucky, and chances that happened again probably wouldn't happen again. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I think chances for me is a bit more like just everyday like throwaway things that happen. A bit like I lucked out a bit on that, and then fate's more like
it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
It could have gone either way. It's just like, well, I think, fate, I agree. I think maybe, you can't, like, they're pretty amazing things. You can't really explain.
Chances for me are, like, something that everyone can have, and the fate is, like, that wouldn't happen just to anybody. Like, me winning the lottery, I'd be like, that's fate, mate. Like, that's not going to happen to every fucker in this world, do you know what I mean? But if every fucker can win the lottery, I'd be like, that's chance, mate. Like, I just got luck to you today.
I hear that does make sense. But it's interesting. I think a lot of people, like, truly believe, their whole life is fated. Like you know what I mean? Like everything's meant to happen or it's meant to be. Sometimes me personally, I'm the same as you. It's all about the spectrum. Like some things, that's just like other things. Just like there's no way that can happen to anyone else. So, like it would just have to be in it. And that's talking to go in one direction or another one. Will be less than some sense. That's my thing.
However, then I would separate. Just add to that, I do separate everything happens for a reason. I do think everything happens for a reason. But like but I think that's just my way of dealing with things. Like, oh, I've messed up or something. That happened for a reason. Do you know what I mean? Like, 9 times out of 10 when I say it, is when I feel like I failed at something. I'll be like, I don't even know. Like, if I failed uni, I'd be like, oh, everything happens for a reason. I'd be saying that to myself just to get through it.
With that being said, though, like, when you say, if you fail something at school or you failed something at uni or you failed at something like that, but then, like, that failure led you down the road, like, maybe it might take 5 years, then 5 years later, back to yourself, like I never would have met that person. Like, that opportunity past that test. Like, because that past that test, maybe would have taken you down that direction. And then it went that way, and then suddenly. And I think 5 years later.
I think that's why it works for fate. Because like you might be like, oh, you might think it's fate at this point, but then like 5 years down the line, you start actually like reflecting on it, and you'll be like, actually no, that wasn't fate. Because I actually, like say for instance, you become like really successful in your career, and you put it down to fate, like oh, it's just where I was meant to be. However, like 10 years time, you actually start looking back. Someone asks you to write a book, and you start looking back and like, actually, no. Me failing my GCSEs made me go do this job, and then from that job, I met this person. Like, I think they both work together. Like, you might think it's fate. Whatever you think at the time, if you think it's chance, you look back at it and be like, actually, no, that was fate. Like, that's just where I was meant to be at that time. Like, when you fail an exam, you don't think, if you fail something, you don't think, oh, that's fate. That's like, oh, this is where I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. It's only when you become successful, where you then look at it and then assign it to it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you only need to assign that to something.
I got one more question.
Go on, shoot.
Okay, so the fate, like fate and chance. Okay. So why are some people's fate to be Jay-Z and other people's fate or chance to be someone that unfortunately maybe dies in a car crash at 18?
Because then,
you know what I mean? Why are some people fated to be incredibly successful people and other people are unfortunately fated to die young? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't know why you had to answer like that, innit? Because I could answer the Jay-Z thing, because I would have probably said. However, I think people will look at it and say fate. I think at the time people were like, oh, it's just that was his destiny, that was his fate. However, then we would look back at it, and I think even if he reflects on it, he'd be like, actually, no, I built these chances. Like, anyone could have picked up a mic and started rapping. They didn't. I did. I wasn't best at the start. I worked on my craft. I mean, like, so I think for that one, I think in regards to it's not even a funny situation. I was just
wait. Let me change.
Yeah, I was gonna say because in regards to
Jay-Z and Pop Smoke died at 21.
Yeah.
Even though he may have just had as much talent or like maybe never know it. Like,
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, yeah, probably around that age. Yeah.
So why
Um.
are some people fate? Do you know what I mean? Like, if
Yeah.
it's just chance in life, or is it?
But then I suppose, like, and then in answer to your question, people would be like, "Oh, his fate." He was like, they. I suppose people wouldn't say like, even if it was the car with like 18-year-old dying, people wouldn't be like, "Oh, that was their fate to die." But then people would generally like assign fate, be like, "Well, actually, yeah, he died. However, he left like a massive legacy." If that makes sense. Like, although Pop Smoke only just got to like starting his career, people were actually like, "Oh yeah, he's died young. He's left like an internal legacy that we can like show to our kids." You know what I mean? Like, oh, his parent might be looking at it like, "Yeah, he's died. That's the saddest thing. Like, why would God do that?" However, like, he's actually left me with this legacy. So I think again, it's fate and chances. It's very exclusive. Like, they both work together. Like, you can say like it was a chance you didn't have to get in a car that day you died. Like, the day that person died, you wouldn't. I don't think you would necessarily assign fate to something like that. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like.
Then surely that, I don't know if they die. I guess in the sense of like Pop Smoke, maybe as you said, maybe his reason for being on this planet was not to live a long time, but to get rich to change his friends and family's life.
Yeah. I suppose.
You know, maybe it's like.
I suppose you could look at that, but then I'd be like, that's some mad sort of fate. Like, I'm sitting there like touching wood now, like, please don't let that be my fate, because even if I was to make it, I don't want to be dead. Do you know what I mean? But I think like that's what I'm saying. I think it's a comfort thing. Like, people will be like, well, actually, it's sad he died, but fate had it that like he had this opportunity before. I don't think people will normally assign fate to someone's death. If that makes sense. If that makes sense to you, like they normally assign it to like a success. So like, I've never heard someone assign like, oh, it's his fate to die. Like, he had to die. I suppose maybe people do. Yeah, I was gonna say I have heard it. People normally like, oh, but then that's normally the only time I can say I've heard it is like, say for instance, like like a grandparent died, and then that same day that grandparent died, the kid like the new grandkid was born. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's when I heard people say like, oh, he died so that this person can come into this world. I've never heard someone be like, oh, it was his fate to die. Like, he had to die for this to happen. Well, okay, I have heard someone say that, to be fair, but that's normally extreme people. Like, oh, he had to die for us to have a like.
No, I'm not saying like it's you have to die for this to happen, but like, is it? My question was like, that some people are literally meant to be millionaires, and some people is meant to be just unlucky. Do you get what I'm saying? It's your life, and if that's the fate, but
I don't think that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's a fate thing. I think that's a luck thing. If that makes sense. I feel like, because people always like, oh, you make your own chances and luck. No, because I feel like but that's what because I feel like fate is like, oh, from like birth, you're destined to do this. Like, this is like, you have no control over that. Where I personally believe like, essentially, you do make some of your own luck. Like I said to you, Jay-Z had to start rapping for that to happen. Like, so you could then argue that was fate, but like from birth, he wasn't always set up to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, he might have been a doctor. You can't just sort of assign fate to that. I think for me, like, anyway, I think that's how you look at fate. Like, me, I look at fate like, I would say fate, I was like, oh, that was in the plan. Like, nothing I could have done that would have changed that. However, becoming a millionaire or being unsuccessful, one is, I feel like, a state of mind, because you can be a millionaire but feel unsuccessful, or you can be unsuccessful in my opinion, but actually you're the most successful person in your opinion. So I think, that's why I say it's different, because essentially, like, I can't say, oh, I'm unlucky because I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a music mogul, because I have actually tried. And if I can say 100% yes, then maybe you can assign luck and fate to that. However, there's also, I think luck comes into it. Like, Jay-Z might have some good chance meetings. Like, he might have been at the right place at the right time for something to happen to him. Yeah, you haven't had that. That's where it comes to luck. I don't think that's fate. Like I said, like walking down the street and just seeing someone, I would probably be like, maybe that is fate, but also I would look at it like, what were the choices that led up to that? So, and
it's a combination. I think it's a combination of things, but it does make me question like, why do some people die young?
Yeah.
Some people have these hardships. Some people have these amazing luck free. Not like stress. No one lives a life that's stress. Life, but some people somehow for some reason seem to have more luck.
Easier. But I suppose we can look at that even in like the most basic sense, not even to like ramble on, but like, say for instance, you're born on a cancer slate, and then your best friend's born to a billionaire. Like, essentially, I don't think that's fate. That's just luck. Like, that's just how the cookie crumbles for you. So, I don't know. I don't think you can assign fate to certain things. I think fate is more like I don't know.
It's a tricky one, but yeah, we probably like wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Obviously, if anyone's got kind of an opinion on this, I'd be interested to hear it again, like speak on it again at some point, because
Yeah.
you can literally talk about hours to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
this conversation.
I thought, to be fair, I didn't think we were even going to be able to go on that long, to be fair, so.
It's one of those things, like, it's one of those things, isn't it? Like, obviously, we're going to try and make it short, but when you have these kinds of conversations,
Yeah.
it's like,
Not bad.
there's so many different groups that you then have to ask as well. So, yeah, we definitely like to hear
people's opinions
on the topic, and if you'd like to come on and discuss this further, please let us know. But yeah, that's been the On Record podcast. Yeah, we'll be back next week. So,
Cheers.